So not exactly the best week, was it? Crypto has just been dying, and I'm going to share a couple articles here that kind of talk about what's been happening lately. Today was, however, a good day in other ways for me, as lately I've been getting into a lot of day trading. Today, you can see my team and we landed on this stock right here, which is up 200% today. Right, ANVS. This is a pharmaceutical company. As you all know, I'm a medical student, so a lot of my stocks that I do work with are pharma related stocks, and I like to do my research on them, kind of see what they're up to, what they're looking into, what they're working on, and so on. I've also been talking a lot about MindMed, MNMD, lately. So this was one that overnight went up, you can see, from 26 to pretty much double, right? So today it started around 48, quickly reached our first peak of $62, went down a little bit, and then boom, went up all the way to much higher than this. Actually, today it had reached a peak of 94, right? So didn't quite break 100. It hit 95 sometimes for a second or so and came back down, and I was able to grab it at two different parts. I initially got in at 43, and had I had everything ready at that same moment, I would have put everything in there, but I didn't. So after this, I was looking at where I could get more of my funds free, so I sold all the crypto I had, which was mostly just a bunch of dogecoin I was holding from like last week or so, and put more in at 64, which was at a higher end. Right after I bought again was kind of where it came back down a little bit, but then soon after, boom, the second spike occurred, and it was huge, right? So day trading came out pretty nice today. Of course, half of it just goes to taxes, so you go ahead and overestimate how much taxes are going to be to begin with, just so you feel more comfortable when the time comes. And then that was basically my morning today. This is something I'll be doing pretty much every morning. Eventually, when the channel reaches that point, I'll be live streaming when I'm trying to do some of this day trading, as I'm watching certain stocks and what they are, making calls and investing. Just for entertainment purposes, you can watch along with me and see how it's going, and then make your own decisions based off of whatever you want to do, whatever you have left. At some point, ANVS was really high up, so that was the peak I got a screenshot at 95, at which point my investment was up 23. So when I did end up selling, I think it was around, let me see, when I did end up selling, it was around 90. Yeah, so that was the point I got out at, which was still around 20k plus. So that was the highlight of today. And as this was happening this morning, another highlight moment occurred, and Bitcoin just plummeted, literally around between 10 and 11 a.m. You can see right here, 10:05 a.m. It just sank a shit ton. Went down from excuse me, about 41,500 to all the way down to 36. Ouch. So anyone holding Bitcoin at that time, for whatever reason, definitely took a huge hit, and that occurred because of course, China. So Bitcoin stages fresh sell-off as China reiterates crypto crackdown plans. That's what we're looking at right here. Bitcoin and Ether are both down by more than 40% since record highs put in just 2 weeks ago, literally. It's been really sad times for the crypto community. A lot of funny memes and funny TikToks all over the internet, where apparently people moved out of their parents' house saying they're crypto millionaires now, and said all kinds of shitty shit to their parents as they moved out, and then here they are this week trying to move back in because of course they lost all their money in crypto, right? So intelligence is a scarce resource, unfortunately. Bitcoin on Friday saw a resumption of a sell-off that commenced in Wednesday as China underscored its plan to crack down on the nascent crypto sector. In a statement, Chinese Vice Premier Liu He said tighter regulation is needed to protect the financial system. And of course, they're trying to intervene on what they're not really happy about, which is people just becoming extremely rich off of crypto in a very uncontrolled manner. Right? China's position isn't new, however, it helped to place fresh selling pressure on the crypto sector, led by Bitcoin. The People's Bank of China early Wednesday announced that financial services companies and payment services were banned from pricing or conducting business in virtual currencies. News reports said a move that was blamed in part for a midweek plunge by digital assets. So they're just gonna, the government in China, they can do whatever they want to, so they're gonna just go ahead and ban crypto, basically, right? So that obviously put a big hit on the system, considering the huge population China has. There's a lot of people that won't really be playing around with crypto anymore. Similarly, you can see that of course when Bitcoin sinks, everyone else follows. So everything kind of fell down. I had some Litecoin I was holding on, so that's a little bit down, but nothing crazy. I might pick up some more today, maybe not. I'm trying to stay away from buying right now until really good news comes up. There's a difference between waiting to hit the bottom, at which point you might miss the bottom and then boom, all of a sudden it spikes back up, and knowing that times are just bad right now. So I'm not waiting for the bottom per se. I just know that it's not really a crypto market at the moment. So I've been investing more of my time every single day, just doing a day trade, grabbing something good that my team and I find that might be having a big gain for the day, and then taking whatever comes out of it, right? The more you put in, the more that you get out, because your gains are percentages. So every day I try to grab something that would hopefully go up by 10 to 20%. If it's 100 or 200% gain, that's even obviously better. And then how much money you put in is based off of whatever you have, and you'll get back whatever you put in, right? Because it's a percentage. So I have dedicated funds that I use for that. So when you add in all of that, you get a lot more back in terms of percentages. I might play around with Doggy, since it's the one that tends to give the biggest return, since it's a penny crypto, and it's easily, if you buy enough of this, let's say you buy 100,000 Doggy coin, which with 60k it comes out to 169,000. So let's change this to Doggy. So let's just make it like you buy 100,000 Doggy coins, right? So that's only going to be 35k right there. And then with 100,000 Doggy coin, what happens is every time this goes up by 1 cent, that's $1,000 right there, right? So if it jumps from 35 cents to maybe 45 cents, that's 10k right there. You just take it and you enjoy it. So it's fun to dabble around with. Here you can see what I was previously holding. When I refresh the screen, you'll see what's going to happen. So I was previously holding this much, right? But I already sold it a while ago. So when I refresh the screen, you get to see that I'm not holding any Doggy coin. But if I was holding it, I would have been down about 5k right there. So that would really suck. I sold it earlier today because I was going to use it in the day trading, and it was pretty stable all morning. As you can see, overall night it stayed pretty stable. Nothing crazy happened. It was just shifts between 0.38 and maybe 0.4. That's about it. So I was like, all right, nothing crazy is happening. Let me just sell it right now, use it for day trading, and then I'll buy it back. And in my time of day trading with ANVS, it sank. So it is what it is. It kind of served as a purpose of saving me that fall, and I used the money for something good. So this is like a pretty nice method in my opinion. This is the method I kind of wanted to share with everyone today, that I feel like I'll continue employing, because the point of holding crypto is supposed to be that if you hold anything for a year or more, then you pay lesser taxes on it. But I have yet to hold any crypto for more than 2 months. It's just not something that happens. Crypto goes up, you sell it because you hear something that sounds like bad news, and then it might sink, and it sinks. Then you buy it again. So at that point, if you're going to hold crypto and it's stable on a given day, you could sell it on that day. Take whatever gains you have, assuming it's already positive. You sell it, use it for day trading or any other investment for that moment. Best thing would be day trading. And then when you're done with that day trade, you sell whatever you day traded, and you take your gains, assuming that went green too. And then you go back and put the money back into whatever crypto you took it out of. You continue riding that ride. So it's a pretty nice safety mechanism. As you can see today, I actually witnessed the safety aspect of it, so it helped me, because while the market was doing its thing and I was day trading ANVS, Bitcoin just sank. Bitcoin plummeted, and my money was out of it because I was putting it into the day trade investment aspect. So you want to go ahead and day trade as much as you can based off of the funding you have available, and then put the money back into the crypto when you're done with the day trade, and plus you'll have some extra, assuming the day trade went green. So those are some things. We had a lot of calls from my team today of things that would have gone up, like JZXN, ANVS. There's another one we're looking at right now, CSCW. So CSCW is looking like a swing trade, which by next week, at some point next week, maybe Thursday, it'll be at $1.50. It's a $1 stock. So if it goes up to $1.50, that's a 50% gain based off of how much money you put into it. You can get a lot out of it. 50%. That's awesome. So that's kind of what's happening lately. Don't try buying and holding crypto right now, because as much as a dip is a great opportunity to buy, we're not really done with the dip. Today I might pick up some. Now that I'm done with my day trade aspect, I might put back whatever I had in Doggy and just grab some, just hold it, see what happens overnight. and then tomorrow morning, well, now it's going to be the weekend, so no more day trading. So over the weekend, you know, I'll probably wait for Saturday now rather than buying anything right now, and then we'll have our Saturday chat episode, and we'll see what the weekend is bringing for us in terms of crypto. But it's looking pretty bad. Here's another article about British member of parliament where they're talking about how Ethereum will apparently flip Bitcoin, and it's going to be the next thing because it's a more useful token that is being used in many things such as NFTs, for example, a huge new market, right? So a huge new thing that's been going around. Tom Tugendhat, MP for Tonbridge and Mowing, devoted precious time in a speech of affordable and safe housing for fall on Wednesday to share his prediction that Ethereum will flip the market capitalization of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency, has a market cap of 758 billion. Ethereum, the second largest, has half of that, about 310 billion. So he tweeted, "We need to think about the contracts and currencies that will shape future trade and risk sharing. We're seeing the flippening from Bitcoin to Ether, and we need HM Treasury to help create space for UK innovation and our legal system to learn what's needed in a new economy." Right, so while this angle of the world is accepting crypto and trying to learn and change with it, the Chinese government and China in itself is kind of acting like that elderly grumpy parent you might have who just doesn't want to move along with the times and doesn't want to accept the fact that you can actually leave a voice message now rather than having to call members, or that you can actually just send a picture rather than, you know, literally calling and asking for pictures and stuff like that, right? People that don't want to move forward with technological changes, basically. So that's kind of what's happening. I don't know what their fear is with, you know, in China regarding crypto, but they're pretty upset about it. And a lot of people are, instead of, you know, really just mocking China and stuff and attacking the Chinese government's decision on this, people are just really upset with Elon Musk. That's another group of TikToks all over the internet where people are just talking about, you know, how much they hate Elon Musk or how that's not their role model anymore and so on and so on. But hey, he didn't really do anything stupid, and it's probably something we would have done too. It all started when he first bought Bitcoin. On that day, Bitcoin was still at its point where it was approaching breaking that 60K barrier, approaching 70K, but it never reached. All right, so if we go back actually to the Bitcoin chart, let's take a look at what happened. So this was like one of these big spikes here was where Elon Musk at some point, you know, decided to buy Bitcoin, and he bought it for Tesla. It was still in the Q1 area, the Q1 time, where then he showed it by selling some of it for his Q1 earnings, because of course Tesla as a company isn't making that much money. And then he started doing all this Dogecoin stuff, and then right after that SNL episode, he was like, "Oh, crypto sucks, it's bad for the environment," and then boom, everything started plummeting, right? Now, of course, you would want to do the same thing too. If you bought a coin, sold it off, and then now you're considered the world's #1 richest man, and then at some point something goes wrong and now you're not the world's #1 richest man, you would want the thing to plummet, bring it down to literally 37K right now. It's super, like, that's half of what we were hoping it would be at this point, and then buy a shit ton of it again and bring it back up to sell it again later, right? So that's literally what his game plan was, and we should have known to follow that, right? We should have known that's what's going to happen on the day of that SNL episode where he was like, "Oh, it's a hustle," right? He didn't say it's serious. He literally referred to Dogecoin as a hustle. So we should have known he'll be hustling, right? And he did. He hustled. He sold. He said it sucks. He made it drop. He'll buy back in. He'll be all about crypto all of a sudden again and won't really care about environmental factors, and then add it back up again, right? So that's kind of what we should have known he would do if we're gonna think of him as our role model and think of him as someone we're grateful to or something, right? And if you hold, then of course you fall back down pretty hard, as you can see, right? We're coming back to where we were at the beginning of the year almost, right? So January. Now, January 9, 2021, we had hit 40K. That was around the first time around which we hit 40K barrier. And right now we're dwindling under 40K. So we're below where we were at the beginning of the year, right? And the highest it reached was around 63K, and we need to make that happen again, right? And it will happen. So if you sold and you held your money, then you're good to go. Last article here, Bitcoin brothers mock Paul Krugman for comparing the crypto craze to a natural Ponzi scheme. Now, if you've never heard of the Ponzi scheme, then that's a whole different article on its own that is worth discussing. Let me actually find something real quick. So for the Ponzi scheme, we want to look at, let me show you real quick. All right, here we are. So Ponzi scheme, right? So Ponzi scheme, Investopedia, very common thing. Very funny that this article showed up on Robinhood today. It was actually shared. I think it's right here on Robinhood. No, not that one. Where is it? Where did they talk about it? It was one of these articles here somewhere. And, you know, I saw the Ponzi scheme thing and I was like, huh, that's really funny, because my dad had actually talked about crypto in a very similar manner not too long ago. And I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. So a Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent investing scam promising high rates of return with little risk to investors. A Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent investing scam which generates returns for earlier investors with money taken from later investors. This is similar to a pyramid scheme in that both are based on using new investors' funds to pay the earlier backers, right? So new investors' money is what's going to be given to the old investors who we promised that they would get a lot of money, right? So someone that invested in January, right when we started the company, would be an old investor. Now by the end of the year, I would give them money from new investors, and all the January people that invested into my company helped my company come up. By December, I'm going to get people to be like, look at how successful we are, invest into us a little more. The December people that invest into us, we're going to use their money to pay off the January people. That is a Ponzi scheme. To call crypto a Ponzi scheme is definitely not fair at all, because first of all, it's way too much money in here for it to be a scam. But on top of that, there's no aspect where we see little risk to investors, right? We don't have that. Clearly, the risk is pretty real. Pretty damn real. This fall from here to here could mean a lot for anyone, depending on how many coins they're talking about. You know, is it one or is it a million? How many Bitcoins are we talking about that fell from all the way up here, 41.5, down to right here at 36.8? Right? That's a huge drop. That's risk. Right? That's literally losing all your money right there. And that risk is there. That risk is definitely there. So for the Bitcoin brothers for Paul Krugman to compare the crypto craze to the Ponzi scheme was quite another Elon Musk kind of move. You know, it's very, very bad taste to saying that, but it's like we wouldn't care that he said that if he was a nobody. That was Nobel Prize winning economist and New York Times columnist Paul Krugman questioning crypto's tangible value in a recent op-ed piece. The self-described crypto skeptic writes that while he often uses Venmo to split checks and buy groceries, and the PayPal-owned peer-to-peer payment service launched when Bitcoin did in 2009, he still hasn't seen Bitcoin, Dogecoin, or other digital tokens become as readily adopted for daily transaction by the masses. And this makes him wonder what the digital assets are really worth. Well, listen, dipshit, one of the reasons it's not been adapted by the daily masses is because people like you are literally out there calling it a scam. You know that at least some, however small percentage of group it might be, some people will hear this guy out and say, oh yeah, it's a scam, we can't make it official, we can't use this like we use Venmo payments, you know. And he kept talking about similar kind of stuff, you know, and just really ridiculous things, to be honest. And of course it made news, right? Everyone's talking about it, everyone was definitely upset about it. Here we see Adam Cochran saying, Paul Krugman, the award-winning economist who told us the internet was economically unimportant, now says the same about crypto. Clearly we're on the right path. So this is mocking him, because he had said, you can see this one, by 2005 or so it will become clear that the internet's impact on the economy has been no greater than fax machines. He said basically that the internet is useless. Here we are, where internet is everything we need. We need internet as much as we need air to survive, right? So he was wrong, and that's what Adam is saying, that we're on the right path if we're following crypto, because he's clearly going to be equally as stupidly wrong about crypto. I mean, just look at how dumb he sounds now when we go back and look at this, right? He compared the usefulness of the internet to the usefulness of a fax machine, which how often do we even use a fax machine these days, right? It's a very rare thing. Not everyone even has one in their house, right? So Paul Krugman will definitely get a lot of hate mail, and he, you know, he knew it was coming, and he's getting a lot of hate in general, right? Because he's clearly being an idiot, right? Okay, boomer. Like people, he's not even calling him a boomer is unfortunate, because not all boomers are this stupid. You know, it's just unfortunate that he is being the way he is. So what's to come now? Well, just keep watching. Just keep watching. Right? Don't buy crypto right now. If you sold, don't buy right now. And if you haven't sold, don't sell. Don't sell. There's no reason for you to sell at the price people would buy at, right? If you buy Bitcoin at 70K and it sinks to 55, well, you might cry, but you shouldn't sell, because then you will realize the loss of selling 15K cheaper, right? Don't make it a realized loss. It's not a realized loss yet until you sell. It's also not a realized gain yet until you sell, right? So you don't pay taxes on anything until you pay or sell. If it comes down to 55K, that's literally a price you would buy at, right? You would buy Bitcoin at that price back at that time. And right now, this is a price you would buy at. So never sell at the price you would buy at when you're, already in at a higher price. It's ridiculous. You have to hold now and just wait until the day it comes back up to whatever price you bought it at. And just relax. Stay stress-free, because there's nothing else you can do about it. If you stress about it and you're gonna sell because maybe you need the money instantly for tuition or something, some expense, then that's unfortunate. And at that point, you should have managed that risk a lot better. So hopefully you learn from this mistake, and then you do what you can. But you got to be very careful with what you even do sell. Don't sell all of it. Hold some of it. Maybe sell half, or sell exactly how much you need for whatever expense you have, because it will come back up, right? So that's a given. It will come back up. And if you're making, of course, you have income, you have a job and stuff like that, you're making money, you save that and buy more whenever you can, right? Buy more right when news starts looking positive again, and people like Elon Musk and Mark Cuban and whoever else are talking more positive things about the uprise of crypto. So for now, that's it. Let's see what happens over the weekend. We'll meet again on our Saturday chat and discuss what's to come up in the upcoming week. Thanks a lot for joining, guys.